So at the end of my other rap video, I said that you need to study how other rappers flow so you could get started. But then I realized, what if I'm your favorite rapper? Like if I base this off my 2 Yap videos, 40 of you care about what I say. Well, unless some of you are watching it twice, and if you are, how you doing? What's your name? What's your number? What's your credit card information? Because I'm trying to play Sonic Racers so I can live my ultimate male fantasy and play as Hatsune Miku. Let's get right into it. I got a simple flow here that will show you the basics of how I rap. Not so much of a shocker because it's me, but I guess if you're expecting rapping from hip-hop, well, it's not. It's from a Eurodance song. Just a heads up, it's kind of NSFW. Not on the levels of WAP, but I figured I'd just leave this word in here just in case. But I promise it's essential. As you heard, it's simple but essential to get you started. First thing I'm going to talk about is how it's written, then how Alligator's tone changes as he raps. So in any rap, it's essential to rhyme, which that's what Alligator does. You got me in the zone, I know you're home alone, hit me with your silicone. Even in the next line, man, hands, understand, even though hands is technically a slight rhyme, but still. But anyways, die, dry, cutie pie, and then, show, go, and then he rhymes go again. Usually it's kind of bad if you repeat words again, but if you make it work, you make it work. Now, huge advice for anyone who can't think of rhymes on the fly, go to rhymezone.com. Seriously, if you type in any word there, it'll find you a rhyme. So abuse that. I abuse it a ton because I can't think of rhymes on top of my head, so yeah. To expound on the lyrics a bit more, I personally like trying to tell a story or have something that loosely resembles a conversation. With Divide Divide, I see that as Alligator hyping up the crowd and being a horn dog. With Burned Out, I tell a story of how, burning out is a damn struggle. In Maruchan Ramen, it's about being broke and living off noodles. You can tell any story you want. With my hit song, Gothic Love, I'm basically having a Riz session with an imaginary goth baddie, so you could talk about whatever the hell you want. Now, tone. Let me give you an instrumental recreation so you can understand the vibe. Now, when I make music, I like to add changes every 4th step. It keeps the beat interesting, and in this case, it'll let me know when something's going to change in the instrumental. Or, in this specific case, it'll let me know to change the tone of my rap. Keeping that in mind, we got to apply those changes to our rap and have it correlate with the music. I already recorded these, but I'm going to mute my mic, but I'm going to still perform it vocally so you guys can understand how I flow. Divide, divide, you've got me in the zone. I know you're home alone, hit me with your silicone. Divide, divide, I'm just a silly man. I got my titty hands, ladies need to understand. Divide, divide, and now it's do or die. You can suck me dry, how you want a cutie pie. Divide, divide, thank you for the freakish show. I can see that you could go, but now it's time for me to go. So maybe it won't be too obvious, but there is very subtle changes there. Example, this is just me saying divide, divide. So if you listen, divide, divide. Then if we come here, divide, divide. Then if we go to this one, divide, divide. Then the last one, divide, divide. There's subtle changes in it that kind of goes with the music. So at the beginning, you can see I'm more like chill. Divide, divide. But then once I get to the end, I get to divide, divide. So you can hear I'm getting a little bit higher in pitch just because, the music's getting more intense as it's going. So in between, the rap is kind of the same way. So even if you listen without the divide device, here's part of it. You've got me in the zone. I know you're home alone. Hit me with your silicone. Pretty chill. I'm just a silly man. I got my titty hands. Ladies need to understand. From there, you hear me getting a little bit more excited. Not like that. Calm down. And now it's do or die. You can suck me dry. How you want a cutie pie? And then finale. Thank you for the freakish show. I can see that you could go, but now it's time for me to go. Hell, if you guys wanted, keep looping the instrumental I showed earlier and just keep practicing till you get the flow and tone down. But if you still want to learn from an autistic SoundCloud rapper, let's get to the pacing. You could keep your rap simple like Divide Divide, or you could go ham and try to shove as many lyrics as you can in between verses. However, there's a few things you gotta keep in mind. First, you gotta remember, your voice is an instrument. When you sing, your voice makes melodies. When you rap, I personally see it as a vocal percussion. Second, the time to spit your flame is going to be limited depending on the mix you're working with. Example, with maruchan ramen, with Lucky and I, we only had 25 seconds to tell our stories, yet we managed to tell it. Third, it's all in mentality. You can approach it in your own way, but so you can understand how my brain works, let me show you a snippet of It's Going Down Now by Lotus Juice. So to quote Alex Mokala when he reacted to the song, he describes that it sounds like Lotus is using his bars to fight the drum beat. So whenever I rap, I like to imagine my voice is either juggling, doing stunts between the kicks, or just straight up throwing hands with the percussion. Hell, even when I say spit and flame, I like to imagine I'm like saying cantations to cast fireball with my voice. Hell, go ahead and use that for your next D&D character. How did you got your rhymes, tones, and now mentality down? Let me show you putting it into practice. I'm going to rap to another Lotus Juice song, but it's going to be Laser Beam from Persona Q. Yeah, gonna find a way, trapped in a maze, trapped in a bit of craze, and I prefer this way. No, I don't cave, especially to the ones who can't behave. Two sides to smile, look how they wave. Waiting for my downfall, my death, my grave. However, my life's blazing. My crew's got it, beam that laser! If you didn't notice, I wave my hands and move a lot while rapping. You don't gotta do that, but for me, it helps because I'm kind of acting like my own metronome to make sure I stay on time with everything I'm trying to say. Small note I should mention, you got to make sure you enunciate every word you say, or otherwise, people will wonder what the hell you're saying. Now, last bit of advice before I call this video over. Let me tell you what I passively do to practice. Rhythm games. Hear me out. Muse Dash, Project Diva, hell, Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush specifically is good at supporting that mentality I have because you have to fight enemies in rhythm, so it kind of just supports that. God, I want Corsica to beat me up in rhythm, but we won't be talking about that here. I might talk about that on my second channel. But anyways, when you play, start speaking in rhythm to whatever buttons you have to hit on screen, and that will train you on pacing and speed. And, of course, do that along with listening to other rappers so you could study. I know I said that last time, but I'm serious. Listening and studying is huge for this. And that's pretty much all I could really offer in terms of, technique and what to do and how to practice. So, I guess to close out this video, let me show you a bit of footage of me playing Project Diva and trying to practice speaking while hitting buttons. Alright. Practice pacing with Mikushi, because here's a record. Try to don't focus on the lyrics, just fuck.